Tonight, from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, it's time for Monday Night Football on EA Sports. Los Angeles Rams taking on the Chicago Bears.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Tonight we close out Week 7 with a good Monday night matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Los Angeles Rams. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you look at this Rams team as they interplay. They were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Bears, they're in a real groove of late. Winners of 5 of their last 6 games. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape, up past the 30. Out come the Rams, and at the controls, the former Cal Bears standing at 6'4", quarterback Jared Goff. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. They'll run. This is Darrell Henderson. And he'll scratch out only about a yard up to the 32.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
On 2nd and 9. Goff. That's into the hands of Reynolds. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. An early task, 2 plays in. This is 3rd and 2. Henderson will try and run for the first. And he won't be close to a first down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there. A nice job defensively. And it likely forces a punt situation on 4th. Strong start by this defense. 3rd and short, they go with a run. Stonewalled for no gain.
I played for a guy who always talked about setting tones and meeting force with force. That felt like it on that play, didn't it? And they meant it in a big way and won. What a great job by the defense.
So on 4th down, here's Johnny Hecker to punt it away. He was called on 3 times in the win last week as his first one here's away. Taking it about the 16. 43 yards on the punt, 7-yard return, and the Bears take over. So here are the Bears now for their opening drive. And they'll be led out by the guy under center, Charles, their quarterback. First carry now for David Montgomery. The numbers on the ground for Montgomery in last week's affair. 14 carries, 64 yards, and a touchdown.
They've won 2 straight games. They've done it with the running game as the focal point of their offense. So in this contest, I don't think about doing anything else. I continue to ride the hot hand that I've established and lead with the runners.
They'll come out in a 4-receiver look. 3 men to the right side on 2nd and 6. Back to throw. Wilder. That's complete to the Memphis man, Anthony Miller. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. 11 yards there, first down. So here we are, Charles, speaking of this rookie quarterback. He's had one training camp and, gosh, I don't know, about a month and a half or so of regular season games to try to digest everything. Now here he is making his first NFL start.
And he will tell you that he is calm, has everything under control, that the butterflies won't get him. Let's just be honest about it. They have to affect him at least a little bit. Let's see if he can handle it. Now, preseason, I thought he's a little bit up and down. But you mentioned the time he's had with the team, the time watching the starter play. Here's his opportunity, and I would expect the coaching staff to emphasize what he does well in their play calling.
So does that mean you think the playbook shrinks a little bit here?
I think they have to be careful about that because here's the thing. NFL defenses, if you shrink the playbook too much, then it just really strangles your opportunity to try and move the football. You can't be too simplistic, but at the same time, as I mentioned before, they will emphasize what he does best, try and call plays in that genre to help him out. Remember, he didn't know he was going to be a starter until late in the week, so he didn't have much time to prepare. That meant this coaching staff had to go overtime in order to prepare a game plan for him.
And worth remembering, this is likely just a one-week audition, if you will, here, because it doesn't look like a long-term injury. To throw on third down. Wilder. And he's got Miller. And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35.
Complete.
A first down and then some. Give him 29 yards.
First down, Chicago.
But one of the ways that quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
So from Rams territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 34. Looking to throw. Wilder. He'll take a shot for the end zone. And it's knocked away and incomplete. That was a safety Taylor Rapp right there on the coverage.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
They'll get only 3 there, so it leaves them with a 3rd and 7 ahead. Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or 2 because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
They need to get this to the 24 on 3rd down. From the gun, Wilder. He'll let this go for the end zone. And unable to connect. Incomplete. Give them credit. They took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
Brandon, we saw these defenders fly to the football in their win last week, and nothing has changed. They're still moving around quickly and forcing incompletions.
So it looks like the offense isn't going anywhere. They're going to go for it on 4th and 7. Back to throw. Wilder. And that's going to wind up incomplete. However, we do have a flag down. Let's check in with our referee. So flag for the contact, pass interference.
And I know that you're going to look at me and roll your eyes, and rightfully so, because you know what I'm going to say. Doesn't the defender have a right to the football as well?
No, I don't like defenders.
That's because you spend too much time with me. Okay.
And he is in. Touchdown, Chicago. Touchdown. David Montgomery with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Bears have taken the early lead. Both sides of the football in sync early. You force the 3 and out, and then you take it down, score points.
You know what that tells me? They sold their game plan really well. Head coach said, listen, we're just going to stop them on 3 and out. We're going to take the ball downfield and score. But he also told them how it was going to happen. They're going to run this. We're going to stuff it. Then we're going to take the ball. They won't be able to keep up with us. And they got it done.
And his kick is no good. An inauspicious start here kicking-wise as this one stays a 6-0 game.
Eddie Pinheiro, the kickoff for Chicago.
Now he's back out there to boom this one away, maybe with some frustration after the PAT miss. Fields it in the middle of the end zone. And he'll decide to not bring this one out as their drive will begin at the 25. So the Rams coming back onto the field, their second drive of the game. And they're coming off a 3 and out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you called before, realize it hasn't worked somewhere else, and maybe try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
A look at the numbers for Geis a week ago. 20 carries, 57 yards, and a touchdown as well.
So he scored his 8th touchdown on the ground last week, and most guys I know, they want to get into round numbers. So, 10 is really the goal, and this is one sport where being selfish and scoring touchdowns is a good thing. Look for he and the offense to try and get him in there at least twice in this game.
Going to run the sweep here. This is Cup. And he'll be brought down right around the 37. 7 yards there and a first down. Well, we've seen running backs in today's NFL get involved in the passing game. Maybe it's about time more receivers like that get involved in the running game.
And that is something we are seeing more and more in this league, no question about it. That wasn't the biggest of gains, but it was enough to get them a first down. And it continues to test the defense. They have to think on every play about who might end up with the ball.
38-yard line, 2nd and 9. 6-0 our score after 1. They'll try the air now with Goff, and that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on, 3rd down.
When you run into slant, timing is everything, and against that man coverage, there was no space available, and incompletion as a result.
After an incomplete pass on 2nd down, that'll leave him trying to convert on 3rd and 9. Incomplete. The passing game not in sync here early, and now it's 4th down.
That looks like it's going to be 2 empty possessions now to start this football game. I think they're going to have to sit down and talk about what worked for them last week in their win. Sometimes you over-game plan, overthink things, get back to what works.
Good blocking there, nearly sprung him. As it is, it'll go as a 19-yard return. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. And they have been disruptive in the passing game, as we're going to see here.
And it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, you cover a guy in your area, and those windows that quarterbacks are seeking to throw into, they're closed in this case.
Yeah, they've been all over the place, knocking down pass after pass. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. To Montgomery to begin the drive. And some room to work. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. 16 yards right off the bat and a first down.
Nice gain there by the second-year runner out of Iowa State, David Montgomery, who often finishes his runs moving forward and knocking defenders back. He finished tied with Josh Jacobs for the most carries by a rookie last year, but what the Bears need from him, improve on his 3.7 yards per attempt. If he gets that up into the 4s, look out. He can control a game with his running.
First down, they run again. Here's Montgomery. A'Shawn Robinson there on the stop.
Well, on every play call, you realize it's not going to go for a touchdown, so a lot of your calls are setting things up for maybe later in the game, trying to establish the inside run with toughness now, hopefully get to the perimeter later, and let's face it, you could do worse than a 4-yard run on first down.
On second down, Montgomery. Call it a gain of 5 there on the run, but they'll remain a yard or two short here with third down coming up.
I think we can safely say that those types of plays are the backbone of this offense. We know not every run's going to be a big hitter, but you know they'll take that type of result on each and every attempt.
So 3rd and 2, this quite possibly 4-down territory, though, if they're stopped. They'll run it. Here's Montgomery. He's got the first down here inside the 30. And he will have the Bears first down as they're able to get the third down conversion. A gain there of 12 yards and a first down for the Bears.
Now this is an example of breaking down a defense, because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
First down, here's the run to Montgomery. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
They get 11 back on that one. It leads to third down. So from 2nd and long, now we go to 3rd and very manageable.
Yeah, they love that phrase, don't they? Because as an offensive coordinator, you can keep people a little bit off balance and guessing, because you don't have to throw it. You can come back with a strong run game if you want to. And if you're in 4-down territory, that really opens things up for you.
On third down, they go Montgomery. And he takes it down to the 13 and picks up the first. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks.
Just about every coach we talk to says the crowd shouldn't affect us. That shouldn't be an issue. And then the next breath, they talk about taking the crowd and taking them out of the game by picking up first downs and keeping them at bay. I think we just saw an example of that there, didn't we?
Important to do, especially early in the game like they have. All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. Now Cohen. And he'll get this one down to about the 10-yard line. Second quarter action with 1:59 remaining. A reminder coming up just a few minutes from now, we'll send you to Jonathan Coachman and our crew in Orlando. Coach will have a look back at some of the stats and scores from yesterday's action. That is hauled in by Jimmy Graham. Touchdown Bears.
Number 80, Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham,
Chicago.
his second touchdown on the season. And the Bears will add on to their lead.
There's not much that's perfect in football, but that's about as close to it as you're going to get. Score, force a punt, score again.
And both drives were impressive. The opening drive was, that last one was. Now on the other side, though, what's your psyche? You're really behind the 8 ball.
You got to make sure you just hold in there. Survive the early storm. relax a little bit and try and get back to your game plan. It's way too early for panic.
Point after, right down the middle. And the lead now stands at 13.
Eddie Pinheiro to kick off for Chicago.
Now after the touchdown, here's Pinheiro to kick it off. Right after the touchdown to extend their lead, now maybe opening the door a little bit there by allowing starting field position at the 40.
And that drives coaches insane, doesn't it? When they see that happen, it just doesn't feel right, does it? Plus, you're giving up yardage.
So good field position for the Rams as they come up 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. Gone. These guys target. It's the tight end, Tyler Higbee. And they'll work this down to the 40-yard line. Tackled there. The drive starting play, a good one. Give him 19.
We didn't need to ask around the league, but we got to confirm this guy's a good player. They've got to find a way to get him more involved, call a few more plays that target him.
Absolutely, because here we are toward the end of the first half, and that's the first target, not just the first catch, first target. Back to the air, gone on 2nd down. Cooper Kupp was his intended target, but now it'll be 3rd down.
And he's only hit on 2 of his first 6 passes. Time for a quick quarterback regroup here with a big 3rd down coming up.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Throwing again is gone. This pass complete to Reynolds. And he's going to have a Rams first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. The Rams, they are on the move. They've got another first down.
Well, that certainly has to feel good. It's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the Emperor's up there. Nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
Robert Woods, former USC man, the intended target. And it's 2nd down. Again, Goff. Open man is Higbee, the tight end. And he'll go out of bounds in the red zone. Just inside the 20.
It's a gain of
the last play on the completion got them half of what they needed. Now here's a tough 3rd and 5. To the air again. Goff. Gets this into the hands of the tight end, Higbee. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. Good defense holds him to only a yard, and it'll be 4th down.
He wasn't the primary target, but I think it was almost like a check-down situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, hoping he can break some tackles, the big tight end, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, get it to that big frame and hope he can scatter some bodies, unable to get it done.
Out there now, the lefty Tavecchio for the Falcon field goal.
A 32-yard attempt.
The kick by Tavecchio is good. And they will indeed get on the board here, but still trailing. It's now 13-3. So the 3 points here, they're still down, but they put somewhat of a dent into that lead going into the break.
Anything helps when you're trying to chip away at a lead, but they do know that they're going to need a little bit better effort in the second half.
And out a little across the 25 to the 27.
The Bears take over 1st and 10 at their own 27-yard line.
At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play. But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on first down, but he couldn't reel it in. So we reach halftime here in a 10-point game as we are off to Orlando now to check in with Jonathan Coachman and our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach?
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. We'll get back to you and Charles in a minute. But first, time to give the folks at home a look at what's going on around the NFL. We'll begin up at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, where it was definitely a game with some intrigue, as you can see by the score line. A field goal was the difference. 27-24, the final. From there, let's head off and check out a second game. And they were losers in that one as they fall to the visiting Seattle Seahawks. 31-23, the final score. Finally, let's get to Philadelphia. Check on the Eagles at home at Lincoln Financial Field. And they were winners in that one over the visiting New York Giants. Miles Sanders, a touchdown run in the victory. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a back-and-forth first half. Who can put it together in the second half? For the answer, we turn it back over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Set to resume. Here we go with the second half. The Bears holding the lead and ready to receive the kick. This taken in about 4 yards deep, and Patterson will not return it. It comes out to the 25. So here are the Bears to take over on offense. They've won 2 straight, and they lead this one as well as they come up on 1st and 10. Looking to throw. Wilder. And his throw is going to be incomplete. Allen Robinson, the intended receiver. But it's going to be second down.
Yeah, that one sailed on him. You've got to make sure you give your receiver a chance to come down inbounds because they are very gifted. They'll make the circus catches, but they make them out of bounds. That does you no good.
Gonna let one fly for Robinson. And that is going to be pulled in one-handed. Wow. Touchdown, Chicago.
Touchdown.
Allen Robinson, his second touchdown on the season as the Bears push further out in front. He put quite a bit of air underneath that touchdown pass. Of course, we knew that he had the strong arm.
That part was easy. You could see that throughout his college career. But what you want to know about a rookie is when the pressure's on, can you throw with touch? He just did right there. And, boy, it was pretty.
Pinheiro now to add the extra point. He missed one earlier, remember, but this time he gets it to go. That drive started on their own 25. 2 plays, 75 yards later, into the end zone.
Eddie Pinheiro, the kickoff for Chicago.
Now after the touchdown, here's Pinheiro to kick it off. Takes this about 5 yards deep, and it'll come out to the 25 as he will not attempt to return. Out come the Rams. He'll have it first here to begin the third quarter. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Give them 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give them a first down.
Despite the score, despite the deficit, no quitting this guy. He's running angry, running through arm tackles. He wants to change what that scoreboard is saying.
Back to the ground on first. It's Geis. And the ball comes loose. This is picked up by the Bears. And to the 43. So down inside the 45 to the 43 It's where they'll take over. Obviously, you got to hold on to the football, but I've got to give credit to the defense there. Good job of knocking it free.
Yeah, because a lot of the time we just blame the offensive players for not taking care of it. How about the effort of the defensive players knowing that guys are going to, and if they're good, anticipate the contact coming and try and cover up the football. And they still find ways to knock it free.
On first down, Montgomery. And he's dropped right at the 40. Gain of 3.
Well, that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
He's going to let this go. Back of the end zone. Got his man, and it's caught for a Chicago touchdown. Allen Robinson. His second touchdown of the game, his third on the year. And the Bears capitalize on the fumble and turn it into 6.
And remember, partner, that's a rookie quarterback back there. Apparently, he's getting the hang of this NFL thing pretty quickly.
Had 3 touchdown passes. You're right, he looks comfortable. What are they doing? Anything in particular?
Well, they keep talking about making sure they're giving him plays that fit his talents and also maybe shrinking the playbook a little bit. They did tell us that. Bottom line, he's really good.
And he puts it through. The long touchdown pass gets him 6 on a very, very tidy 2-play drive that time.
Eddie Pinheiro to kick off for Chicago.
Now after the touchdown, here's Pinheiro to kick it off. And they're going to mark that where it went out of bounds. So really good starting field position past the 40-yard line. So they will accept the penalty and move forward.
Automatic first down.
Goff will lead the Rams up here 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. Off of play action, he'll look to throw. And the open receiver, it's Robert Woods. And he just falls short down at the 1-yard line. A big play there for L.A. 57 yards. Pretty good yards after the catch there on that crossing route. Is a crossing route good for a quarterback because the receiver's coming across his line of vision?
They love those kind of throws. And how many times have you seen any of what we call an in-breaking route? Quarterback really turns it loose, doesn't he? Has a lot more confidence because he can see the play right in front of him.
Well, that didn't take long. One play, and we're already looking at a 1st and goal situation. On the ground, Geis. And this one will wind up with him losing yardage. Back to the 4-yard line. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
I think this running game, or should I say lack of one, is making this defense look better than what they really are.
From back at the 4, here's 2nd and goal. Again, Geis. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. A great effort there. His 9th touchdown of the season. And the Rams are able to draw a bit closer. So the call's made by Sean McVay. They're going to go for 2. A shotgun snap for Goff. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
That keeps the score. Bears 27.
Tough there. Good pass. Hit the hands. He just couldn't bring it in.
And every receiver's coach everywhere. Seeing that play, focus, focus, focus. Watch it all the way in and tuck it away.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. Fielded a couple yards into the end zone. And Patterson will not return it. It comes out to the 25.
25-yard line.
Now Allen Robinson and company gearing up to go again on offense. And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this, but it's usually not by himself, is it?
Right.
Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. They've really distanced themselves. They have put the pedal to the metal, I guess, so to speak.
So definitely have them in the rearview mirror, don't they? I mean, you're exactly right. Being able to string together these drives that end up in points, it's almost like a run in basketball to create that distance, and they're on a really big-time one right now.
It becomes contagious, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, because oftentimes it translates to your defense as well, because they're excited about getting the ball back for their offense that's playing so well.
Well, they are clicking right now. Gonna let one fly for Robinson. That's caught inside the 20. And great yardage here all the way deep into Los Angeles territory.
61 yards.
That's a big-time pitch and catch right there. And, partner, I remember the days when quarterbacks would try this. They were holding their breath. But nowadays, they're counting on their receiver to be just a little bit better than the defensive back when it's one-on-one and the ball's in the air like that.
A real field flipper there, as all of a sudden they've got a first down in the red zone. Draw play. Cohen. And they'll go backwards here, losing yardage to the 14. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up second and 11.
Another big play there by Aaron Donald, the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year in 2017 and 18. We know he can rush the passer. He's also dominant in the run game. The quickness for a man his size often defeats the offensive lineman trying to block him.
Back to the ground, this time Montgomery. And he's taken down at the 7 after a gain of 7.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
They'll keep pounding here with Montgomery. And he takes this one in for a Bears touchdown. David Montgomery, his second touchdown of the game and his 9th on the year. And the Bears will extend their lead. And he certainly played a pivotal role with those 2 TDs and why they're up on the scoreboard right now.
Well, someone's all about winning, aren't they? Because he's not worried about the number. Sure, it's great to have 2 touchdowns. But the bottom line is what he's doing is contributing to their lead. He wants to continue to do so.
Pinheiro now to add the extra point. And oh, it's no good on the PAT, so they can't add on here. And our score is going to stay right where it is.
Eddie Pinheiro, the kickoff for Chicago.
So with the missed PAT in his rearview mirror, he goes back out to kick this one off. And this carries into the end zone. And this will not be returned. It'll come out to the 25.
25-yard line.
L.A. set to take over again on offense. They've got to dig down deep. I mean, they need something right now, really anything to cling on to. This offense has struggled.
Partner, join me in a walk to their locker room at the half, okay? Because I think what we would have seen is an offensive coordinator and his assistant coaches getting together with all their positions, then coming together as a group, going over adjustments, and then the head coach coming in and just screaming, wake up. Yeah. Let's get moving, guys.
I'm kind of glad we weren't in there that time, actually.
You think you might have turned it on us, too?
Yeah, but right now, whatever was said hasn't been working. First play of the drive going for 14 and also going for a first down.
And what a nice example there of a tight end doing exactly what he needs to do. How about how he worked his way to the outside, made sure he secured the catch, and then anything after that, we count that as a bonus. And indeed, he gets enough for the first down.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Goff now to throw. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Bears. Past the 20. And they bring this one back. A fumble return for a Bears touchdown. None of that. And give some kudos to the defensive coordinator, I think, here. They bring the blitz, they dial it up, and it turns into 6 points for them.
It's so nice to hear you actually give kudos to the defense. It is so nice. You're such an offensive guy like that. I love it. He dialed things up, and boy, a big play resulted for his guys.
Well, you like the credit to the defense there, right, my friend?
Yeah, do I ever?
Pinheiro now to add the extra point. And oh, can you believe it? He misses another one, his 3rd so far.
Eddie Pinheiro, the kickoff for Chicago.
And you can bet they're preaching 2 hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return.
Now this will make it into the end zone. And this will not be brought out. It's a touchback.
At their own 25-yard line.
Here's a Los Angeles offense as they get set to take possession. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Well, those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more in their head. And what I mean by that is just what you said. You've gone over the changes. I bet they were pretty clinical at the half, not too emotional. You might need to go to the emotional side because you've got to find something, some spark somewhere. And so far, just being calm hasn't exactly worked.
They need any spark at this point. 3rd quarter on a Monday night with a 2nd and 10 coming up. From the gun, here's Goff. Right side complete, that's Woods. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. A gain of 13, it's a first down.
1st and 10 at the 38-yard line.
Out of the gun, they give to Henderson. And this time they were waiting for him as he'll be knocked down before he can get back to the line of scrimmage.
Smith in on the tackle.
1 quarter remains here as we wrap up the week on a Monday night. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Throwing on 2nd down. Goff will get this complete to Cooper Kupp. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. It's a pickup of 17 and a first down. That's just his 2nd catch of the game. They wanted to keep him silent. They have kept him silent.
Defensive football 101. Don't let the best player on offense beat you. Take him out of the game. They've done a great job of doing that.
Open man, Higbee, the tight end. A good rally to the football. Keeps him to only a yard, and it's 2nd down.
Brings up 2nd and 9 at the Bears' 45-yard line.
There's Goff. That's complete to his tight end, Higbee. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up 3rd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They tackle them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
The Rams on 3rd down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This is 3rd and 8. Goff throwing again. That's taken in, complete to Reynolds. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made here at the Bears' 23. Nice 3rd down conversion and even 20 yards.
Now, that was a fun one to watch right there. A nice in-breaking route and plenty of room in the middle of the field. And he was able to get behind the linebackers and grab the completion for a really good pickup.
And he's going to take this one in for a Rams touchdown. Josh Reynolds His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Rams are able to cut into this lead. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions, and I'd hear 9 from the receivers. That meant fly route, go. Look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
So still lots of work left to do, but here comes the onside kick. And the Bears hands team able to pounce on it and get the football. In the 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
They'll run on 1st down. It's Montgomery, and he takes it down to the 40 with a pickup of 4. Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big, big number. But 20 was the threshold because that kept them in the ball game and kept the pressure off of their own offense. Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
On 3rd down. It's Montgomery, and this effort won't be enough as they rally up to stop him a couple of yards short. It's a pickup of 3, but it brings up what will be an interesting 4th and 1. This late in the game, Charles, I think you maybe seriously have to think about going for it.
Especially where they are in terms of field position, because this is almost like no man's land. Might hurt your punter because there might not be enough space, maybe too far for your field goal kicker. I'm like the old rule. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Possession is 9/10 of winning the game. Go for it. Get the 1st down. Close it out.
He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. And they will not be able to hook up there. It's incomplete. The Bears tried it on 4th down, unable to convert. And the Rams are going to take possession of the turnover on downs. And now out on the field, here comes Los Angeles. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tackle and see what you did on the last drive. When you score points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a 1st down.
7-yard line.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Rams football here as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. On 1st down, it's gone. Quick pass to Cup. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or 2 shy of the 40. Maybe a frustration penalty there because he's picked them apart.
They tried their best to get to him and haven't done it successfully. A penalty as a result of that hit there.
Now Goff on 1st down. Reynolds with a catch out on the right side. That catch good for only a couple.
Out of bounds at the 23-yard line. A gain of 2. Brings up 2nd and 8.
A 4-receiver look here. 3 out to the left, 1 to the right on 2nd and 8. Here's Goff. And he's going to be taken down here. A sack back at the 32. Khalil Mack has now recorded 10 sacks on the season. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked up by the rookie, Jalen Johnson. And this return is going to be halted right around the 28-yard line. This spot in the fourth quarter with that deficit, had to throw the football. Unfortunately, there's the risk of big turnover.
And you know you're going to be throwing against nickel, dime, all sorts of exotic defenses, but you have to do it anyway. Ordinarily, you might want to run the football a little bit, try and get them out of it. But as you noted, this time of the game, this point on the clock, had to throw it.
Mess around and put that thing over your permit. 6 figures every year, yeah.
That one looks like he'll throw here. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up second down.
Normally you think the tight end's going to be able to catch the football and handle that contact, but in this case, maybe a little too much target to hit. That one was timed well, incomplete.
So now they'll come up on 2nd and 10, once again from the 28. They'll go to Montgomery to try to wind some clock. And they'll wind up getting this to the 37. Gain of 9.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
And it's 3rd down.
Again, they'll go ground with Montgomery. And he will have first down yardage as he's brought down at the 41.
Kamu Grugier-Hill on the tackle.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with. And throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a first down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
Throwing on first down. Wilder is going to fire one deep, middle of the field. And a flag comes in as that one falls incomplete. So let's see who this is on. A little too aggressive defensively, and the flag comes out.
And no one trying to cover is going to like a call going against them, but you have to like the effort there. Went for the interception, just unable to get it, and the flag did come out.
The chain gang hustling to catch up. Here's 1st and goal from just inside the 10. Back to throw. Wilder. And he takes this one in for a Bears touchdown. A 9-yard touchdown grab. And the Bears use the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6. He has really settled in throwing the football, and that touchdown here in the fourth quarter gives him a pretty comfortable cushion.
He may be a rookie, but he's playing like fourth quarter, and the QBing is easy. How about this guy? Youngster, not worried about anything, just cutting it loose and having fun.
Pinheiro now to add the extra point. And this part of the game's been an adventure thus far, but this one is good. A drive there of just 4 plays. And it culminates in a touchdown for Chicago.
Eddie Pinheiro to kick off for Chicago.
Now after the touchdown, here's Pinheiro to kick it off.
Fielded a couple yards into the end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23.
1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line.
Set to begin their next drive, the Rams offense at the line. This is just an exercise in futility. Do you even bother running a play here offensively?
I wouldn't, because now is not going to erase what's happened during the game. So after it's over, you're going to go to the film, find out where the game was really lost. But this is not a situation now where you're going to make up for anything.
We'll see what they do here. Once again, they'll go from the 23-yard line on 2nd and 10. One last throw here for Goff. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. Pass incomplete, but the flag in the backfield, and this might be a roughing call.
Roughing the passer, defense.
I think you'd agree that looked like the right call from up here.
No doubt about it. What everyone has to understand is that the officials are going to be right on the play each and every time. You may not like the call, but they're usually spot on.
One final shot. They'll look to throw. He's going to let it fly. And that will be incomplete as time has run out on this football game.
Bears 46.
A big offensive explosion helped leading them to victory. And the defensive guys, they're just saying, hey, put those points up every week. We'll just keep winning.
They will gratefully accept them, won't they? It makes their job that much easier when they're scoring that many points. Allows them to play with a totally different style and a different flow.
So for Chicago, they remain one of the hottest teams out there as the win moves them to 6-1. And they'll return home next week to take on the New Orleans Saints. Meanwhile, for Los Angeles, they fall a game under the 500 mark at 3-4 through 7 games. And they'll look to regroup next week as they head down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.
It was a tough break for the injured guy. But this was huge for me. And the press wanted a quote, which is how things happen like they did. I smiled for a few last photos and left the podium. And later that day, I checked the headlines and was shocked to see one in particular about my press conference.